All right, Loma, why don't you tell us who you are and your website and what your website is about, and give us some, just start out with that.
Start with that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Loma Wharton. I'm co-chair of the Liberators11.org. We're an educational group. We're situated in Douglas County, Oregon. We've been together since 2004. We do various and sundry classes. I teach Agenda 21 Sustainable Development. My brother teaches Constitution. One of our members teaches political and jurisdictional issues, and a variety and asunder. We've stood in front of the county commissioner's office back in 2007 and presented the fraud going on in the county clerk's office, where notices of federal tax lien are being unlawfully liened on property without judgments, orders of warrants of distraint from courts, and without any signatures under penalty of perjury or any type of documents. And the same holds true with attorneys' claims of liens and foreclosures. I have just myself gone through foreclosure and filed for a quiet title, having gotten Umpqua Bank's vice president to admit 3 times in front of witnesses that they sold my note. My quiet title was dismissed because the judge strictly followed the statute, which says that you don't get your day in court. They don't have to prove that you owe the debt, bring forth ledgers and journals, and the person that's kept record of your payments, all they have to do is tell you that you owe the money, give you a certain time to pay, and if you don't pay, then they can take that as a default and apply it to your property and foreclose. So it's actually an unconstitutional statute. So that's pretty much what we're about. We've brought Sheriff Mack to town now twice. We brought him back to Douglas County a year ago, and then reformed our committee again and brought him back for this event here today.
Can you tell us how? Can you tell us a little bit more about how you guys are covering the Agenda 21 issue? Like, what are you doing locally and then state-wise to subvert that tyranny with liberty?
Well, I have taught a class with 912 and Americans for Prosperity in Canyonville. Did that last month, and I go to Eugene for 912 project on the 8th. We teach it in our classes. Our Liberators classes are the 3rd Monday of every month in Roseburg at Roundtable Pizza. We stand in front of the commissioners. Just about any place where we can voice our voices, we're at. But just doing the Agenda 21, it's a PowerPoint presentation. It's the same PowerPoint presentation that you can get off of freedomadvocates.org. And it's just a matter of getting the word out there and educating. And I understand that the class that I'll be teaching in May, on the 8th of May, is a class of 50 or more, so that's going to be an interesting class. So that's pretty much what we do.
Nice.
My brother teaches Constitution, jurisdiction. He has been in and out of jail because of traffic stops, so he pretty much is doing the same thing that Gene is doing, only he's experienced it firsthand. So when we had our Liberators 11 documentation and everything at the tea parties. So those are some of the groups that we're working through too. And we're not so radical anymore. When we first came out, we were accused of being radical, and now more and more people are standing beside us. And we need to stand beside our county sheriffs too. That was the purpose of today's event.
It's more like common sense.
Common sense, yes.
Okay. How did you first get in contact with Sheriff Mack?
I saw a video of him, and we had, I don't remember now what prompted it, but when I saw the video, we have a steering committee that started Liberators11.org, and I just went to the steering committee and said, I think we need to bring Sheriff Mack to town, and we just put our piggy toes together and got in contact with everybody that we knew and formed a larger steering committee with a lot of sponsors last year, and it couldn't be done with just one person. There's been a lot of people that have stepped up to the plate for these two events and done a lot of work and a lot of sponsoring. So we brought him to town. We needed to have him, so we brought him.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the councils for the sheriffs, constitutional sheriffs?
The Constitutional Sheriffs Association, that's a website that our Liberators 11 group put the website up for Sheriff Mack. Sheriff Mack chose the name, constitutionalsheriffs.org. It's a little long, but it's a site where people can go, and eventually we'll have it set up so that they can click on a link that will take them to their county sheriff. Right now it's just for Oregon. I'm running the website, and I need a little more education in figuring out how to link it to the United States. But our goal is to, in each county, is to have committees formed that are willing to take the 10 questions that we have for county sheriffs, to ask them if they're going to be a county sheriff, and if they won't step up to the plate and protect our rights, then it will be the committee's goal to replace them. But eventually, Sheriff Mack would like to see board members from each county come to the Constitutional Sheriffs Association and be board members, and all get together and set out a plan where we can go, they can go countrywide and get all of the sheriffs on board so that our rights can be protected and we can stand behind them.
Do you know, can you tell us what those 10 questions are? They will be on the website. I don't remember all of the 10 questions. Actually, I believe now we're up to 13 because we have sent them out to some of the coordinators that we have within the state of Oregon, and we've gotten feedback from them, and so we've increased it. It's not 10, it's 13 or 14 questions. But they can go from disagree to strongly agree with the questions. One of the main questions that stands out for me is the sheriff will either disagree or strongly agree that he will not allow any audits by the federal or by the IRS in his county, and he will not allow any traffic stops just strictly for checking ID. And I don't remember all of the others, but those will be up on the website. That's great. Let's see. Can't think of any other questions that I have for you.
Well, if you do, email me, I'll answer them.
Is there just anything else you want to share about the event today?
Yeah.
The only other thing I would like to share about the event today is Liberators 11. We're in the process. We're going to sit down with Gene Pringle this weekend, and we're going to hold a private class for him to strictly teach the proposed rule and what is actually happening with the business regulations and motor vehicles, so we can let you guys know of that.
Great.
And today, what I'd like to be able to see is the other counties. Sal Casuccio with Oregon Firearms Federation happens to be our Marion County coordinator for that county, and we're hoping that with the private classes tomorrow, there's 5 counties represented: Lincoln, Curry, Douglas County, Josephine County, and then Coos County's represented by the uncontested sheriff candidate because their current sheriff is running for county commissioner. So Craig Zanni will be here for the private classes, and I'm really excited about those. And we've got
still no word on Sheriff Winters from Jackson?
No, I did send him a personal written invitation. I've not heard anything from him. We're hoping that eventually down the road he will come on board, but if he doesn't and he won't step up to the plate, then he needs to be replaced. But I'm really excited to see what happens tomorrow after the private classes are done.
What are you doing with the sheriff's posses?
The sheriff's posses, well, I can only speak to Douglas County Sheriff's posse. John Hamlin, sheriff for Douglas County, is trying to form a posse. There's a mounted posse, but he wants a foot posse, and he would like to do it with concealed weapons permits. But he also knows that in the correspondence that we have had with him, meeting with him personally, that we stand beside him, and we're confident that he will be a constitutional sheriff. He says he will be, and so far we haven't seen that he hasn't. But he's forming a ground posse through the concealed weapons permits. And I'm sure he wouldn't turn anybody away that wanted to be there. I know our group will stand by him. We've told him that if he's willing to step up to the plate, we're willing to stand by him, armed if necessary, to protect our rights.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Loma.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys, especially.
That was good on the posse.
Is that good on?
Thanks for the
That's it?
question.
Yeah, because
And
I